I'm excited to have Daniel Fava with us today. And Daniel and I connected in a Facebook group dedicated to the therapist life. And so we hang out in there. And he is a web designer who dedicates his time to helping therapists attract their ideal paying clients. And who doesn't want more ideal paying clients, right? So his online home is createmytherapistwebsite.com. And today he'll be sharing with us some common mistakes that therapists make when they're designing their websites. Thank you, Daniel. I can't wait to hear these common mistakes. Take it away.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Illy. I really appreciate it. Okay, so mistake number one that I see pretty often is forgetting calls to action. And basically what a call to action is that whole framing of the next step for someone to get in touch with you and to seek out your services. So when someone's searching for a therapist, searching for a counselor, and they land on a page and you got all this great information and then there's nothing for them to do. Studies have kind of shown if you don't give them the option, then sometimes they'll just leave, people bounce off your website. So you want to make sure that every step of the way that you are guiding a potential client, through the process of getting in contact with you and obviously scheduling that first session with you. And for my wife, she's noticed that if she can get people on the phone, she's like 97% sure that she can book that first session. So for her on her website, she's got a free consultation, and that's kind of like her main call to action. So you'll see that on the bottom of pretty much every page on her website, and that'll feed into the contact page, but it also has her email and her phone number there. So moving on to number two is sort of the flip side of that is too many calls to action. So that's another thing that I see pretty often is that people want to get all the information about their practice into every single page on their website. And that can create a lot of just confusion and just too many buttons on a page. And so the same sort of idea applies here, is that you want to specifically choose one main action for each page. And you can have different links and stuff throughout the page because you can lead people through different information on your website, but you don't want to make it really hard for someone to choose, what's the main thing that I should do here. So just keep pages simple, and that's kind of the best thing to do. And think about that journey that you want a potential client to take in order to schedule that first session with you, and kind of think back from there. So number three, just blazing through here, is a weak about page. And so one thing that with my wife's website and her practice that we noticed when I look at her Google Analytics, the about page, since her website started back in, I think it was 2011, we started her website. And for all time, her about page is the second most visited page on her website. And so that just kind of shows me that people really want to know about you before they do any business with you. They want to learn more about you. And so that page is super important on your website. And especially if you're not driving a lot of traffic with like SEO and blog posts and stuff. And the about page is the second most visited page on your website. So you want to put a lot of time and a lot of effort into that about page. And the biggest piece of advice I can give is that the about page is not necessarily about you. It's still about that potential client. Yes, you give them information about yourself and who you are and about your practice. But it's really important to kind of keep that frame of mind and that you're serving potential clients. You still need to use this opportunity to let them know that your services can help them. And so you want to, think through that from a place of empathy and thinking about your potential clients and what they're going through when they're seeking out counseling. And a lot of times it can be, very anxiety fueled, or maybe there was a crisis that's happening in their life, divorce or just pain. And so you want to think about, where that person is at and really provide upfront information that they're, let them know they're in the right place. Let them know that you understand what they're going through, the struggles they're facing, the challenges, and you set that up, and then you kind of move into, well, here's the solution is myself and my counseling services, and I know that I can help you with these challenges. And then from there you can go into your bio and some of your philosophy about how you practice, that sort of thing. But up front, you want to just give people confidence that they're in the right place and that your services can actually help them. And number 4 is not creating specific pages for the different specialties that you serve in your practice. A lot of times I see people who, they'll create a services page on their website, and it ends up just being a bullet point list of just different specialties like anxiety or divorce, and it's just a list. There's not a lot of information. So you have a really good opportunity with your website to really improve SEO, as well as just provide great information, again, for someone who's seeking your services. So what I would do is, over time, think about the different specialties and the different topics that you like to cover in your practice, and create devoted landing pages for each of those. And so you can have a page all about anxiety, like what is anxiety? What is anxiety? How do you treat it? And this is what it would look like for you if you came into my practice seeking help with anxiety. And that just provides, again, a lot of that, relief that, oh, this person can really help me with the things that I'm struggling with. They know what they're talking about. It makes you kind of look like an authority, as well as creates a great opportunity for search engine optimization, because you'll have the different keywords in there. You'll have anxiety sprinkled throughout and in the title, and all that just helps you get found in Google. And so I was going to do 4 points, but let's move on to a 5th point since we got some time here. So the last point is kind of going back to what I spoke about on the About page, and that's that keeping your potential client in mind. And so a mistake I see often is in private practice websites is, a lot of times you'll see the copy is in like third person, and it's just like, hey, thanks for coming to my website, and here's what I do, and that's basically it. But I think that there's different ways that you can really identify with a potential client, and every step of the way, just to be there for them, to comfort them, and just give them opportunities to feel comfortable moving forward with calling you for your services, and to start counseling with you. And so I always like to see people speak in the first person. I feel like it's a little bit warmer, and it kind of shows more of your personality. It lets people just get a sense of who you are, a little bit about what to expect from counseling with you. Another thing you can do is, on your About page, or even on your homepage as well, is have a professional looking headshot. It's always great to even just spend a little money, or if you know someone who's a photographer, who's a friend, to just get you a great looking headshot. And I know for myself, like, I always like to see someone who I'm going to be sitting in counseling with, and it just, again, it helps create that sense of knowing someone and trusting a little bit. And you can take that an extra step too, and create a video on your website, just like an introduction about yourself. And that, again, that just lets people know your personality a little bit better. Another thing you can do is create a your first visit page, which will talk about the entire process, from getting in touch with you, and then this is what you'll go through your first visit. Explain a little bit about maybe the intake forms that you have in your business. Provide pictures of your office, and that also, again, just rids some of the anxiety, because you know where you're going, you know what to expect, you know what you're walking into. And you could also include frequently asked questions on that page as well. And so you just use your website as an opportunity to serve potential clients, and just really meet them where they're at in some of the pain and the challenges that they're facing, and just really provide some of that comfort and relief that will give them the confidence to take the next step and reach out to you for your services. So those are
Thank you.
five mistakes I've come across.
Okay, thank you so much, Daniel. Those are, you gave 5 mistakes, but you gave so many useful tips in there. Recently, I heard or I read somewhere that if your business is 3 people or less, to always use I in your copy. And if
Mm,
it's more than that, then you can start to use we. So the first person, I think that was a great tip. And I also love, and it's one I haven't heard before, the your first visit page
yeah.
idea.
Hmm.
Um, sure, I mean, that's fantastic because it gives clients really specific just progression of what it looks like to come into
Right.
your office. So,
Right.
yeah, thank you so much for your time today, Daniel. I
Oh, you're
appreciate it.
welcome. It's my pleasure.